Hey everyone. Tesla stock is really soaring right now.
It
It's
is.
hit $456.09.
Yeah,
And a lot of investors are wondering, is this a good time to buy in or is it going to come crashing down?
right.
So today we're doing a deep dive into Tesla, looking at where they are in the market right now, what
Okay.
their plans for growth are, and most importantly, what it all means for you as an investor.
Tesla's a really fascinating company because they're not just a typical car company.
Right.
They're really making waves in the EV space and sustainable energy solutions,
Absolutely.
even autonomous driving technology.
hmm
All of these things are drawing a lot of attention from investors, and it's helping to drive up their stock price.
Yeah, and analysts have given a pretty wide range of price target predictions for the next 12 months,
Yeah.
from as low as 24.86 to as high as $515.
Wow.
So obviously there's a lot of debate about, you know, is Tesla really worth what it's currently valued at?
Right.
So let's break it all down,
Nice.
starting with how Tesla's been performing lately. They're actually on track to announce a record-breaking quarter with an estimated 515,000 vehicles delivered.
Yeah, that's a huge number.
That's a lot of cars.
It really speaks to the global demand for EVs.
It does.
But what I think is really interesting is how Tesla is actually taking advantage of this demand. They're not just along for the ride, they're actually shaping the market.
Okay, so how are they doing that?
Well, one of the big things is their vertical integration strategy. They control pretty much every part of their production process, from designing and manufacturing the vehicles to developing their own battery technology.
Wow.
They even created their own charging network.
Hmm,
This level of control allows them to be really innovative and adapt quickly to changes in the market.
that's really smart. I mean, it's like they're creating their own little world,
Yeah, their own ecosystem.
which gives them a big advantage.
Absolutely.
But, there are other companies trying to get a piece of that EV pie too.
Oh,
There are the
yeah.
traditional car companies and then all these startups popping up. So how is Tesla dealing with all that competition?
Well, Tesla was one of the first in the EV space.
hmm
But now you have companies like Ford, GM, Volkswagen.
Right.
They're all investing heavily in electric vehicles.
Yeah.
And they have the advantage of already having these large-scale manufacturing operations and distribution networks that Tesla is still building up.
Yeah, so we can't count them out.
No, not at all.
And then on top of that, you have the Chinese EV makers like
Right.
BYD and NIO.
Right.
And they're not just doing well in China, they're going global,
They are.
bringing some really innovative ideas and competitive prices.
Definitely. So Tesla's facing pressure from all sides,
Yeah.
and how they handle this competition is going to determine their future success. And that, of course, affects your investments.
So it's not just about selling cars anymore. It's like a strategic game of chess,
It is.
trying to outmaneuver all these rivals.
Right.
And speaking of strategy, let's talk about China. It's a huge market for Tesla.
Yeah.
They've seen really strong sales growth there, with registrations up 7.5% so far this year.
Yeah.
But the competition in China is fierce.
China's really interesting because it's the biggest EV market in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also where Tesla is facing its toughest competition.
Yeah.
Companies like BYD and NIO,
Yeah.
they have a strong foothold in the Chinese market. They understand the customers and the regulations there in a way that foreign companies often struggle with.
And it's not just about price. They're coming up with some really cool technology, too.
Yeah.
I've been reading about their advancements in battery technology and self-driving features.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely not just copying Tesla. They're doing their own thing.
Right. They're innovating.
So what is Tesla doing to keep up?
Well, they've actually started using a pretty interesting tactic to maintain their market share in China.
Okay,
They're offering discounts on their Model 3 and Model Y.
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a way to stay competitive and attract buyers who are looking for a good deal.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You got to be aggressive in a market like that. But I bet some investors aren't thrilled about that.
Yeah, some might worry about their profit margins.
Right. Because discounts mean less profit.
It can. But it's important to look at this move as part of Tesla's long-term strategy in China. They're focused on gaining market share right now.
I see.
They're betting that their brand recognition, their technology, and their growing charging network will help them become a dominant player in the Chinese market.
That's a bit of a gamble,
It is.
but potentially a big payoff down the road.
Exactly.
I like it. And it fits with their whole approach.
Yeah,
They're not afraid to shake things up.
not at all. They're disruptors.
Exactly. And speaking of shaking things up, let's talk about their big move into robotaxis with the Cybercab.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
This is a fully self-driving vehicle priced under $30,000.
Wow.
It's created a lot of buzz.
It has.
The Cybercab is a perfect example of how ambitious Tesla is
It is.
and how they're not afraid to push the boundaries.
Yeah, it's a huge step forward in autonomous driving technology. And it could be a game changer for the entire transportation industry.
And of course, we have to talk about what this means for investors.
Right.
The robotaxi market is predicted to be worth a massive $174 billion by 2045.
Wow.
And it's expected to grow at a compound annual rate of 37% starting in 2025.
That's huge.
Those are numbers that get investors excited.
They do.
And Tesla isn't just planning to sell these robotaxis, they want to operate a whole fleet of them.
Yeah.
Imagine a network of self-driving cars all over cities.
Yeah, that's their vision.
It could completely revolutionize transportation.
It could.
And they're already working with officials in Austin, Texas, to possibly start testing out robotaxi operations there.
That's exciting.
The bold idea,
It is.
with huge potential for profit.
Definitely.
But of course, it comes with risks, too.
Of course. What are your thoughts on those?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is going to be getting regulatory approval.
Yeah.
Autonomous driving is still pretty new.
Right.
And governments around the world are still trying to figure out how to regulate it.
Yeah, how to make sure it's safe and how it all works legally.
Exactly. Tesla's going to have to navigate that whole complex landscape.
They will.
And then there's the question of whether people will actually feel comfortable riding in these driverless cars.
That's a big one.
Yeah, will they trust the technology?
Uh-huh.
How will Tesla deal with concerns about safety and who's responsible if something goes wrong?
Right. Those are all important factors.
All of that could affect how quickly people embrace robotaxis.
It will. Tesla's going to have to prove that their self-driving technology is reliable, safe, and can handle all the crazy things that happen on the road.
So the Cybercab is a really interesting case study.
It is.
It shows the incredible potential of this technology,
Mm-hmm.
but also all the challenges that come with it.
Yeah,
And it really shows how Tesla is willing to take big risks to shape the future.
definitely. Even if that future is a little uncertain.
Exactly.
Huh.
Now, throughout this whole discussion, I've been thinking about Tesla's stock price.
Right.
It's been all over the place lately.
It has.
And investors are pretty divided on it.
They are.
Some think it's a guaranteed winner. Others think it's a bubble that's about to burst.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts? Is Tesla actually worth what it's valued at right now, or are investors getting a little carried away?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
Tesla's valuation is a hot topic. Everyone's talking about it. Analysts, investors.
Yeah.
On the one hand, you have their impressive growth, their technological leadership,
Mm-hmm.
and their potential to completely change multiple industries.
Yeah.
That's all reflected in the stock price. On the other hand, some people are saying that their valuation is just too high,
Right.
especially when you consider the increasing competition, the risks involved in all these ambitious projects, and just the general volatility of the stock market.
Yeah, it's a complicated situation.
It is.
A lot of factors to consider.
A lot of moving parts.
And we'll keep digging into it as we explore Tesla further.
We will. There's still a lot more to unpack. And in the next part of our deep dive,
Okay.
we're going to look at how Tesla is expanding beyond just vehicles.
Okay.
We'll talk about their move into humanoid robots,
Sounds interesting.
and we'll examine the potential risks and rewards that all of this presents for investors.
I'm looking forward to it.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Tesla. We were just talking about the Cybercab and how it could change the transportation industry. But Tesla's not stopping there. They have even bigger ambitions when it comes to energy storage and generation, which could be huge for their business and for the whole world.
It's true. Tesla is not just trying to change how we get around. They want to change how we power our homes, our businesses, even entire cities. And that's where their energy products like the Powerwall and Solar Roof come in.
Exactly. Those energy solutions are a big part of Tesla's long-term plan for a sustainable future. The Powerwall is a great example. It lets homeowners store energy that comes from their solar panels or the grid. It gives them more independence from those traditional utility companies and lets them power their homes even when the power goes out. And the solar roof is pretty cool, too.
Yeah, I've seen those.
It basically integrates solar panels right into the roof of the house.
Yeah, it looks pretty slick.
Yeah, it's a really efficient and stylish way to generate clean energy.
It's amazing how Tesla's bringing all these different things together. The transportation,
Yeah.
the energy storage, the renewable energy generation. It's like a whole ecosystem.
Yeah, it's all connected.
But how does all of this translate into actual value for investors?
That's the key question. While Tesla's energy business is still pretty small compared to their car business, it's growing fast and has the potential to become a really significant source of revenue in the future.
So as more people switch to solar power and need ways to store that energy, Tesla's in a good position to benefit.
Exactly. They're ready to meet that growing demand. It's like they're creating a one-stop shop for a sustainable lifestyle. You can drive a Tesla car that's powered by the sun using energy generated from your Tesla solar roof and stored in your Tesla Powerwall.
Yeah, it's a pretty appealing package for people who are environmentally conscious. And it also creates this really unique synergy within their business model.
Exactly, you got it. They're aligning all their products and services to create this integrated and sustainable system, which could really set them apart in the long run. But as with anything this ambitious, there are risks and challenges to think about.
Of course. So what are some of the potential roadblocks that Tesla might face as they grow their energy business?
Well, one big one is competition. Tesla's not the only company out there doing solar and energy storage.
Right.
They're up against established companies like Sunrun and LG Chem.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
And there are a bunch of new startups trying to get a piece of the pie, too.
So it's not just the traditional car companies they have to worry about now. They're taking on the big players in the energy industry, too.
Yeah, it's a whole new battleground.
It's a lot to handle.
It is, and it requires a different set of skills and expertise. Tesla will need to use their technological innovation, their strong brand, and their loyal customer base to stand out in a crowded market.
And what about regulations?
Right.
The energy industry is heavily regulated.
Absolutely.
Tesla's going to have to navigate all those permits and agreements and incentive programs
It's a complex web of regulation.
to really roll out their energy solutions on a large scale.
Yeah, it's a big hurdle, but it's essential for their success in the energy sector. They'll need to work closely with governments and utility companies to make sure everything they're doing meets the standards and requirements.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential of Tesla's energy business, but also the challenges they face. But let's switch gears for a minute and talk about something that's been generating a lot of buzz lately. Tesla's move into the world of humanoid robots with the Optimus. What can you tell us about this ambitious project?
The Optimus robot is a perfect example of Tesla's bold vision for the future. It's basically a general-purpose robot designed to do a whole range of tasks.
Okay.
From simple things around the house to complex industrial operations. And Elon Musk has this vision of a future where these robots are everywhere, helping people out with all sorts of things.
It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It does.
But what's the real-world application of these robots? And how does it fit into Tesla's overall business strategy?
Well, that's something a lot of analysts and investors are trying to figure out. Tesla sees the Optimus as a natural next step for them, given their expertise in artificial intelligence, robotics, and manufacturing.
Makes sense.
They think the same technologies they've developed for their cars, things like self-driving and advanced sensors, can be used to create robots that can navigate complicated environments and interact with the physical world.
So the Optimus could be working in factories, warehouses, even our homes,
Exactly.
doing tasks that are too dangerous or repetitive or just plain boring for humans.
Right. The possibilities are pretty much endless. And Tesla believes that the market for humanoid robots could actually become bigger than the market for their cars.
Wow, that's a lot of robots.
Billions of units worldwide, potentially.
But let's be real. Developing and deploying humanoid robots on a large scale is a massive undertaking.
It is.
What are some of the technological and logistical hurdles that Tesla needs to overcome?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is making robots that can work safely and reliably in the real world.
Right.
These robots need to be able to handle uneven terrain, pick up objects of different shapes and sizes, and adapt to unexpected things that happen.
Like a kid running in front of it or something.
Exactly. That takes really advanced AI sophisticated sensors and a super durable mechanical design.
And we can't forget about the ethical considerations.
Right.
As these robots become more common in society, we're going to have to think about their role, their rights, and how they might affect human jobs.
Absolutely. Those are crucial points. Tesla needs to be aware of the social impact of their work with robots, and they need to be open and transparent about the ethical guidelines and safety protocols for developing and deploying these humanoid robots.
So the Optimus project is super interesting.
It is.
But it comes with a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
It's a high-risk, high-reward kind of thing that could potentially change a lot of industries.
It could.
But it also requires careful thought about the ethical and social implications.
It does. You've summed it up perfectly. It's a bold move into the future, and it's going to be fascinating to see how it all plays out.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been taking a deep look at Tesla's world, from their record-breaking deliveries to their plans for robotaxis, energy solutions, and even humanoid robots. It's clear they're not just trying to improve things a little bit, they're aiming to completely change the game in these industries. But as we all know, disruption comes with its challenges.
Yeah, for sure. And for Tesla, those challenges come in different forms. We've already talked about the competition getting tougher with traditional car companies stepping up their EV game and ambitious startups, especially those in China who are pushing the limits of technology and challenging Tesla's dominance. Exactly. It's a crowded field, and staying ahead requires constant innovation and being able to adapt. But competition isn't the only thing they have to worry about. Let's talk about something more internal to Tesla, their reliance on Elon Musk. He's a visionary leader, no doubt, but what happens if he decides to take a step back or shifts his focus?
That's a valid concern for investors, for sure. Musk's personality and the way he leads are so connected to Tesla's brand and strategy. Any big change in his role could create a lot of uncertainty and potentially affect how confident investors feel.
Right, it's like he's the face of the company, the driving force behind all their big goals. And while that can be a good thing, it also makes them vulnerable. But let's not just focus on the negative. What are some of the opportunities that Tesla could use to strengthen their position and maybe create even more value for investors?
One area that's really exciting is the continued expansion of their supercharger network around the world. This huge and reliable charging infrastructure gives them a big advantage over other companies, especially since range anxiety is still a big worry for people thinking about buying an EV. It's like they're building the gas stations of the future, but for electric cars. And that infrastructure is going to become super valuable as more and more people switch to EVs.
Absolutely. It's a strategic asset that could give them a leg up for years to come. And then there's the possibility of Tesla licensing their technology to other car manufacturers.
So interesting.
Their advancements in battery technology, autonomous driving systems, and software could be a huge moneymaker if they decide to go that route.
That's a smart move. It would be a way to bring in revenue without having to actually build and sell every single car themselves. They could be like the Intel of the EV world, providing the brains behind the operation. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We've looked at Tesla's strengths, their weaknesses, the opportunities they have, and the threats they need to watch out for. But at the end of the day, the question everyone wants answered is Tesla a good investment? What are your final thoughts on that?
Well, as we've been talking about, there's no simple answer. Tesla is a complex company with a lot going on, operating in an industry that's changing all the time. Their stock price is unpredictable, their goals are huge, and the risks are real, but the potential rewards are just as big.
So it's not a decision to take lightly. Investors need to think carefully about their financial goals, their risk tolerance, and whether they believe in Tesla's vision for the future.
Exactly. Investing in Tesla is kind of like betting on the future. It's a bet on their ability to achieve their ambitious plans, to navigate a competitive market, and to overcome the challenges that come with disrupting industries that have been around for a long time.
And it's a bet that could pay out big time for those who believe in Tesla's potential to transform not just the car industry, but also the energy sector, and maybe even how we interact with robots in our everyday lives.
It all comes down to you, the investor. We've given you the information and insights to make an informed decision. Now you have to weigh the evidence, assess the risks, and decide if Tesla is the right investment for your portfolio.
We hope this deep dive has given you a better understanding of Tesla as you navigate the exciting and often unpredictable world of investing. Thanks for joining us.